Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa. The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register.
Undebatably amazing. This is the Great Debaters Contest Nakuru edition, and I am Austin Nyumbok.
I am Mariam Bishar, and we have Nakuru School going versus Annester Precious Girls, and they're debating on whether a cashless economy leads to the invasion of privacy. Proposal number 1, you have 3 minutes.
My grandmother probably saw more solid cash than I did. My son will probably see less of solid cash than I will. I'll bet I can trace very minimal private data about my grandmother's transactions. In the same way, I'm sure my 9-year-old son will be able to know everything that I ever did with my money. A cashless society creeps in through one door, privacy slips out through the other. Morioki Lea from Nakuru School, here to propose the motion that says a cashless society leads to invasion of privacy. A cashless society can simply be defined as a society in which consumers pay for goods and services using debit or credit cards, electronic fund transfer, or online shopping instead of paying by cash or banker's check. There is minimal use of liquid cash, hence it is also known as a checkless society. Invasion of privacy, on the other hand, means that it is the intrusion into the personal life of another without a just cause, which can give the person a right to bring a lawsuit for damages involved in use of this information. On to my first point. A cashless society has led to loss of identity, which has now become a reality. A very good example is the Daily Nation newspaper dated 15th November 2012, where Muthoki Mumo writes, and I quote, "Key credit card details could be up for sale just with 855 shillings over the internet. Once bought by cyber criminals, the information could be exploited to wreak irreparable damage to your finance," end of quote. We could all agree and attest to John Milton's words, and I quote, "Solitude sometimes is best to society." But this information that you just hold so dearly can only be sold for that cheap, for the amount of money that is just less than 1,000 shillings. I bet you didn't know this too, but now you know. On to my second point. The cashless society has acted as a growth medium for data trafficking technologies. A very good example is, in accordance to a research done by the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, in the year 2012, on facial recognition technology, a software that enables the identification of an individual based on his or her distinct facial characteristics. Another research also carried out by the same organization proves that techniques have come up where, just by an individual's picture, information such as age, gender, financial status, interest, and probably location can be obtained. Some of the unscrupulous business persons have decided to adapt this uncouth method of obtaining customers, where they are able to know about the purchasing power of different consumers and also their taste and preferences. This is one advantage to the other side, but also a great loss to the other side of the coin, as privacy is infringed. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to make your opening statements.
Maimuna Melissa is the name. Annester Precious is the school. Opposing the motion that states a cashless society leads to invasion of privacy is the mode, and patriotism is the calling. So cashless, in simple language, this means plastic money. Money that you can't see, money that we use credit cards and ATM cards. This is what cashless means. But according to the motion of today, cashless means a sophisticated and civilized means of using money. Now, I would like to explain what cash means. To me, the definition of cash is an analog radio. So leads means to result to. Invasion means interrupting in an unwanted way, but according to the motion, the word help is tinted to mean invasion. Now, using privacy, the bank can use privacy to guard your private information. For instance, you might give your information to the bank, but the bank can use it as a defense from your private life. Once somebody wants to know about you, the bank might ask the PIN number, the age, the date of birth. So the bank can actually protect your private life. Now, in a cash society, once your money is stolen, trust me, there's no coming back of it. Or once your information is taken, it will never come back. But in a bankless society, the money can be taken or your information can be taken, but it can easily be tracked and be demolished there and then instead of a cashless, in a cash society. Now, our opponents says that there are people who can know your location, your age, or your gender once you're displaying your information to the internet. Now, this we can't call it invasion because when invading, it is in an unwanted way. Because you put it there, you knew it was coming, you knew people would look. Now you want to blame cashless for your mistakes. I don't think it deserves that. Now, things like location and genders, yes, they can be gotten to the internet through hackers, but this is a competing world. The world of today is for competing. There are geniuses in the banks and there are also geniuses out there. They are all competing. We have hackers, but we also have hackers, greater hackers in the bank. People who can protect your information. So if my opponents are telling us that they don't want competition, well, they should notice right here, we are having a competition. So if they don't want competition, they can walk out of the door. Thank you.
We'll hear rebuttals now. Proposition, you have 3 minutes to make your case.
All human beings have 3 lives: a public life, a private life, and a secret life. Gabriel Garcia. My sincere greetings. I am Nganga Cynthia from Nakuru School. A cashless society has a broader definition than what you present here. It is not only through banking, it can be through EFTs, electronic fund transfers, mobile banking services, and bitcoins, although they are illegal. It is not uncivilized since currently 25% of the world has gone cashless. It is used in supermarkets, in banks, and the like. I agree. When you put up information in a cashless system, it is not invaded. The invasion comes when hackers bug your system or your account and use this information to their advantage. Did you know that a well-equipped hacker can open a dummy company using your name and details at the comfort of his home? Did you know that this hacker can withdraw money from your account still at the comfort of his home? Also, the bank can guard information, but the bank is not Superman. Information can be lost. Technology is being improved, and criminals are also improving. After all, we do have to survive. There are 2 types of genius. There is resourceful genius and mad genius. What if these people who are supposed to protect my private information are mad geniuses? A cashless system is mainly considered safe. The question, however, comes, how safe is safe? It is proven by a recent study by Aztec, Australia, that 16.8% of shopping sites are invaded by data traffickers, also known as data miners. And as I mentioned, these people are out for your information, not for your own good. Also, you mentioned PINs and passwords. These are the most obvious and most common used methods of authentication. And like I mentioned before, technology is being improved and criminals are also improving. It is proven by the Kaspeki issue that your own digital device could be used against you and become part of networks run by cyber criminals, commonly known as botnets. Also, it proved that There are 5,000 vulnerabilities to the use of pins and password. A well-equipped hacker could crack that password within 2 flashes of a dark steel. I do not ask to be alone. Rather, I ask to be let alone. There is a lot of difference. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your cross-examination.
Fidelis Morigo, glad to oppose the motion that states a cashless society leads to invasion of privacy. I go to the rebuttals and I rebuttal my opponents over here. So the first proposers say that using the means of cashless leads to like the identity, you lose your identity. No, let me ask, this is what I term cashless. This is what I term using cash. Now, using this one in a bank, I believe as you judges have used, it shows your identity. But using this, has it ever shown you your identity? No, I disagree. Second rebuttal. The second proposer said of hacking. Now, are you aware that once an account is hacked, it freezes? Anyway, even if you hack an account, you can trace it back. For example, I am a professional criminal because I believe to hack an account, you really have to study. It's not only any other Dick and Harry can do that. You have to be a professional thief. Now, I hack your account and I steal maybe 1 million cash shillings and I go and steal money from somebody's pocket. Now, the money that is going to be hacked is going to be traced. Once you lose money in your pocket, you will never find it back again and nobody is going to trace it back to you. So hacking is curbed. Thank you. Straight to my point, security. Once you want to get an ATM with a bank or to have an M-Pesa account with Safaricom, you have to disclose all your information. That is principle of utmost good faith. Now, the question that you are asked, your ID number, your next of kin. Now, they say it is insecure. Now, let me ask one of the judges, Judge Major, when you are opening an account, because I believe you have one, you were asked your next of kin. When the bank was asking you about the next of kin, do you think they are after your money? Do you think they are after protecting your money to know who's going to get that money next? So I don't think cashless society is going to lead to all these things that you're saying about insecurity. Second, let me talk about conveniency. How convenient is this cashless mode? Now, Judge Ann, you once mentioned that you have a daughter, you have one or a son, right? Now, you are maybe in Mombasa. Your child is schooling in Nakuru. The child tells you, hello, mom, I've been robbed some pocket money and I think I need some money. Now, Judge Ann, are you going to get out of Mombasa to here to bring money? I think even the debate is sponsored by M-Pesa. By Safaricom, sorry. By them, we use M-Pesa. So I don't think how you guys can sit there or here and tell me I should go analog. Come on, let's grow up and go to digital. Anyway, any one of you, even if you don't have an ATM account, even if you do not have an M-Pesa account, I believe you desire to have one. Join us, you'll one day get it. Thank you.
The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register. The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register.
The proposers have been asked, with technology such as magnetic strips, isn't it harder to hack or breach data from credit cards and debit cards? And the opposition have been asked, do they not feel that the use of cashless systems will widen the gap between the rich and the poor, especially because poor or lower income people may not know how to use cashless systems? We'll have them respond now. Proposal number 3, you have 3 minutes.
A very good evening to you all. I'm Anne Mwangi from Nakuru School, proposing the motion that states a cashless society has led to the invasion of privacy. In response to the question posed by the audience, don't you think it will be hard for privacy to be breached from debit and credit cards, since signatures and data are stored in a magnetic strip only read through a special light? Technological advances mean that these criminals have also been tripling their efforts. After all, we are all in business, the bad and the good. According to the BRC yearbook in 2005, criminal hackers and cyber criminals have been successful in making copies of the data stored in magnetic strips of debit and credit cards, as well as forging of signatures in order to commit a fraud. The research further proves that 402 million euros was lost in the UK through plastic cards fraud in the year 2003. And to my first point, okay, I love John Milton because we have the same line of thought, solitude. There have been many cases of online payments theft. An example of how this is accomplished involves a third party who has access of a private key to a victim's credit payment address or of an online wallet. If the private key is stolen, then the payments from the compromised address can be transferred. In this case, the network does not have any provisions in identifying the culprit, blockading any further transactions, or even returning them to the legitimate owners. A cashless society can only be implemented by the government, since it's the only organization that prints and controls supply of cash in a society. This enables the government to monitor purchases, spending habits, and also top ranked businesses, thus giving an upper hand to the matters private. You know, the real danger here is to have your hand watching over every financial move that you make. I don't know about you, but I perceive that to be left alone is one of the most precious things one can ask of this modern world. As we speak, someone citing from Balance and Bandits 2009 is currently earning a salary from invading your privacy. Bitcoin, a currently illegal cashless system in countries including Kenya and US, pays its operators not on the basis of how many users they enroll, but on the basis of how much information they collect on an individual's financial movement and manners. So watch your step. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond.
From the springs of reality, the majority always go for what is good, and not what is good is done by the majority. Stacey Wangoi from the Annester Precious Girls High School. And I'll first start by answering the question asked by Lorna from Marymount, the wonderful girl in blue. And she asked us that, by using cashless society, aren't we increasing the gap between the rich and the poor? What about those who are illiterate about it? Lorna, I would like to answer your question. I'll just give you an example of my grandma, who lives in Bungoma, in the interior of Bungoma, called Wacheka. She uses M-Pesa, and as I'm sure of it, it's a cashless. Yeah? So when you tell me about illiterate, and I'm very sure there are M-Pesas all around, and I'm very sure everyone uses a phone. And when there's M-Pesa, they tend to use how you open a bank account and everything in the M-Pesa. Other than that, when you're looking at the negative side of this, look at the positive side of cashless. It leads to invasion of privacy, you see. But today I bring you the truth, and the truth is all you want to hear. It leads to increase of money supply. Our opponent gave an example of UK. They were stolen 2 million, and they were using cashless. But if they were not using cashless, they would have lost more money. And let me give an example of New Zealand. This was found in the research in smiled.com. New Zealand, it has a circulation of a currency of about $4.4 billion. per year. And 3.8 of these $1 billion is in cash and is lost and traceable where it goes. But perhaps this money was put in banks, perhaps users cashless. It would have earned them a 1.8% GPD. Isn't this increasing the supply of money in a country? You're just looking at your privacy. Look at the bigger bulkage in this thing. First of all, my colleague said about the conveniencing. Okay then, let's all run, hide money under our beds. Will you do that? Judge Major, will you do that? Why do you have a bank account then? Ask yourself that. If you're saying we go back, okay, we use cash. Everyone here, go hide money under your bed, hide them. And then, well indeed, even it's barbaric. How can I hide $1 million under my bed? Seriously. That's why you have those bank accounts. They ensure you of the security of everything that you need. Just find it in cashless. And we welcome you to a side to support the cashless digital world. Thank you.
We'll now hear closing statements. Proposers, you have 1 minute.
402 million euros is far much more than 2 million. Can your grandmother use an EFT? Just asking. You don't actually lose identity. It's called identity theft. Research. Cyber criminals are like any other entrepreneurs. They see an opportunity and they grab it with both hands. They have the knowledge, they have the skills, they have the techniques, they have the equipment. They only need raw material. What is this raw material? The private information you give out to the cashless systems you confer to. These criminals have shelves that are constantly packed with card security codes, full names, addresses of unsuspecting citizens. Information you so-called private is sold very cheap online. The criminals even have an advertising and marketing site on social media. It is telling how daring these cyber criminals are. The fact that they sell private information for so cheap means that they are confident they will all have a steady supply of their product. And their product, mind you, is your private information. I'm not comfortable when someone has information on how I use my money, when I use my money, how frequently I use my money, and where I choose to use it. Now, if you do not consider this information private, I'd like to sit down and listen to your definition of the word. Thank you.
Opposition, you have a minute as well for your closing statement.
First, they tell us that once your money is stolen through hacking, you can't be refunded. Second, we know that if your money is stolen through hacking, the bank can refund it. So my question is, what language are you talking? Because if it's English, I don't get the sense behind it. Now, they keep on telling us about the money which is stolen, about businesses being made under your name. They talk about something that doesn't even involve the motion. The motion is talking about privacy. So tell us about the information which is stolen, not the money which is stolen. We really don't care about the money. We don't care about the businesses started with your name. The motion states invasion of privacy. Now give us points to counter. We are tired of searching for them. Now I think it's very rude to bring allegation to our sponsors, M-Pesa and Safaricom. So to my opponents, sit back, relax, and reflect on the motion next time.
Maimuna, very good speaker, very good start for your team, and that in itself is a character that is needed for you to start over your team. However, I felt like you needed to address a few things more with much more details, like when you say that banks have even super hackers within themselves. I hope that you will demystify to us so that now we can really understand and really say, you know what, there is no privacy invaded by this. Fidelis, good rebuttals. I think I really felt you, with AIDS when you came over to tell us this is money, this is the card. When you said that you can never trace real hard cash, lost, that was real, because once gone is gone, Stacy, you did well as well. However, I felt like the answer that you gave was quite vague, when you came and told us that, the grandmother, because maybe, also uses M-Pesa. You didn't exactly answer the question. I thought, as if a way of answering such a question would be, they have siblings, they have kids, they were educated in those villages, or even the shops that they go are of trusted people within. So they would not be able to go to get into a situation where they have been cheated. So I think you should have answered that well.
Let me say, a team of 3 well-read ladies. Serious. When I look at you, look very serious. Again, the issues that you raise are very serious. Wamuyu, Cynthia, and Anne, that was a beautiful lesson. And if I was to rate it, I'll simply say better than good. Wamuyu, I love the way you started. Perfect use of generations and how it impacts society. Excellent content analysis and synthesis, basically good. It was awesome presentation. Cynthia, there is something you do to me when you mention some serious writers, private life, public life, secret life, made reference to Gabriel Garcia. I guess it's Gabriel Garcia Marquez, the author of 100 Years of Solitude. Awesome. 2 types of genius, resourceful genius, mad genius, beautiful. And I love the way you incorporate it into the motion. And I love this guy, John Milton. I hope it's the same John Milton that I know, author of Paradise Lost. I mean, and you say you have the same train of thought with him. I want to assume I also have the same train of thought with you. I want to say something to you girls. It was a beautiful way of executing the content, beautiful way of analyzing issues. And at one point, I believe this thing is actually invading my privacy, and I should not. Cashless society leads to invasion of privacy. You convinced me. Beautiful submission, awesome debaters. That was commendable job.
Annester Precious, you have 70%. Please give them a round of applause. Nakuru School, you have 76%, making you the winners of this debate.
Congratulations to Nakuru School and to Annester Precious. Waterfalls, but it keeps flowing. We'd like to thank you, members of the audience, and urge you to follow us on Twitter at Great Debaters EA and our viewers back home. Please check our social media. I am Austin Yumbok.
And I am Mariam Bishar. Thank you for watching.
The Great Debaters Contest 2016 registration is now open. Teachers or school administrations should register on www.greatdebaterscontest.com/register. The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.